When we planned the trip initially, Turkey wasn't even on our list. I mean, the idea was to go to the Adriatic. We were going to check out the coast of Albania, Tirana. We were going to head up to Montenegro and also into Croatia and perhaps one of the other Balkan countries. But my wife brought up the idea of Turkey as a place that would seem, affordable for us to spend time and even to retire in, or have a second home or a second place, a destination to go to. And so initially, Turkey wasn't on our list, but man, am I glad it was. I mean, there are so much wonderful things to explore and to see in Turkey, and we only scratched the surface. So even as it is, I'm probably gonna have to break this up into like three parts. Istanbul, I'll discuss that today, and then we did the drive down along the coast eventually to Izmir. Izmir was another place that was our final in Turkey, so we'll talk about that. But then also these little towns and hillside villages and sites to see on the way. Some of the old, some of the churches, the cities that were churches that John mentioned in Revelation as well. So, Istanbul, wow, what an amazing place. I mean, when you fly in, first of all, the airport is world class. I mean, so nice, and what a place that is. And easy to get around, easy transportation. We wound up renting a car because we were going to drive. So it was pretty easy, fairly easy for us to get a car rental. And then from there, we were able to head into Istanbul where we would stay. We stayed across from the Blue Mosque. And so we could see from our balcony, we could see the mosque. And man, what a sight that is. I mean, just massive, beautiful, old world structure, just amazing. We actually got to go in and do a tour of it, which was very impressive. Our first major mosque was when we went to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but this was just impressive. And the hotel that we stayed on was super affordable. It was, great little restaurant, lots of, tea and coffee, and the Turkish tea. They love to give you tea anytime they see you, or stuff like that. So it was super great. They got us with the tour guide, and we did a walking tour, and we saw things like the Hagia Sophia. We saw the the Basilica Cistern, which is the old Roman aqueducts, which was super amazing. I mean, wow, just still today. I mean, thousands of years old and just beautiful in there. They had downtown, they had this old hippodrome, which was the Romans where they would do the chariot races. It's not, it's not in activity now, but it's a place where you can go and people can walk and, that kind of stuff. We definitely walked a lot. And we noticed that how clean the city was. I mean, we didn't see any, garbage, no homeless, and etc. So where we live, there's pockets, a lot of, homeless, and, we feel for them. But you didn't really see that where we were in Istanbul. We also did some museums. We did several museums. They have a lot of museums, and then the old Grand Bazaar, which was unbelievable. The Grand Bazaar is just like this massive teeming of people with shops and food and just everything you can think of. It was crazy driving in. I think we wound up getting some taxis at times as well, because it's I didn't feel like driving everywhere. But man, what a great place, the Grand Bazaar. We just had such a great time buying stuff, and we went into this this cool Turkish shop as well, and we wound up buying a Turkish rug. And months later, the owner, the guy, he imports them or something, he wound up delivering the rug to us personally. So it was pretty fantastic. But yeah, the Grand Bazaar was really cool. And outside the Grand Bazaar, you know, we went to a lot of different shops, and we would go to get the Turkish delights, and they had all these shops with these, you know, the Turkey's famous for these Turkish delights, and you would just get them super fresh and super delicious and just amazing. So that was another cool place that we liked. You know, about that around the Grand Bazaar. And we also did like a river tour. So the you know, Istanbul is split into a European side and then an Asian side. And so we would go catch the like this riverboat on one side over where the former Polish is kind of settled, and on the European side where they also have these cool old fashioned trains that you could ride and stuff. And so it was lots of shops, lots of shopping. I guess it was a Polish people there at the time, but now it's of course massive with people and restaurants and shops. And but we would catch the riverboat there, and we did this really cool tour which takes us, I mean, we spent about half a day, and it was fantastic. We'd go up and down the rivers, and we stopped on the Asian side, and they would, you know, let you go out and go shopping. And you know, we also just kind of explored around, like, you know, we noticed that everything was very reasonably priced. Even where we were in the tourist district, it was still very, very reasonable. And I'm sure, you know, living on your own, you know, or living outside of the tourist district is even cheaper. So from a cost of living perspective, I mean, you know, Turkey would be fantastic. I think Istanbul for us would be very busy, like too busy for us. So, you know, so another area would be probably more amenable, maybe down on the Mediterranean or something, on the you know, the Turkish Mediterranean. But anyway, Istanbul is definitely a place you have to put on your bucket list to go see. It's absolutely fantastic. Everybody was super friendly, super nice. I mean, very polite. And you know, like, you could be at an outdoor cafe, or you could be at a restaurant, or you could be at the hotel in one of their diner, whatever, wherever you were. The level of service was the same. I mean, it was super professional, super courteous, super great. I mean, really, like, they have this great quality of serving you, you know? And we really appreciated that. And we didn't find people to be, we've been to a lot of markets and stuff like that, and the people were not over pushy or nothing like that. They were very gracious and kind. So can't say enough about, you know, Turkey, especially Istanbul. So our first few days in Turkey, we loved it. We would definitely go back to Turkey. Definitely will go back to Turkey, God willing. And so, what an amazing country. Tomorrow, or I'll be talking about other places like that we stopped along the way on our road trip to Izmir. Okay. Anyway, I'm the over 60 guy, and this is my channel, and I just want to say thank you for all of you checking me out and commenting and, you know, sharing. It's been wonderful. You guys are fantastic. So you probably hear some sawing back there. I have they're cutting a tree down because all the leaves are flying into the pool. So but anyway, I'm Brian, over 60 guy. God bless you. Bye.